Hello, everybody. Just very quickly, can you all hear me and see me? Just stick a comment in the comments box if you can. Excellent, brilliant. Okay, start off with massive apology to everyone, and in particular AJ, because the UK times changed, the rest of the world times didn't change on Sunday. So I absolutely stuffed up the timings of this one and gave AJ the wrong time, an hour late, but he has made it here brilliantly. So thank you so much, AJ. Thank you, everybody else. And my apologies for stuffing up the time zones. So let's get on with things. I'll introduce the man himself. So AJ, all of you will know, is an absolute legend in the industry. He's a best-selling author with the book, The Mind-Body Solution. He has also been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, Huffington Post, Men's Fitness, bodybuilding.com, and a whole lot more. He has his own online personal training company, a very, very successful company, and he's helped hundreds of people with high-end online training get great results. He has also helped hundreds of personal trainers build their own very successful online personal training companies, and that includes a few of our PT Distinction members as well. So without further ado, I will introduce the man, Mr. AJ, and bring him in.
Hey, what's going on, Tim? Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Hey, AJ, sorry about the stuff-ups.
No problem.
Thank you for moving so quickly, and thank you for joining us here. It's really fantastic to have you. Yeah, so for me, one of the easiest webinars I was sort of doing my research on and going through things I've seen from you, and I came across a particular conference and a particular speech that you gave, and it was about 5 systems of online training, and it blew me away. I thought it was, I have never seen anyone sum up online training, the whole process of it, and creating success with online training so well in such a short period of time. So I just want to go over that and sort of ask you some questions about that, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. Super honored to be here. I love your software, and you know, online training is my life, so I'm happy to contribute everything to the people on and just give everything I've got.
Wicked, wicked. Thank you very much. It is, as I say, awesome to have you with us. So let's dive in. Your 5 systems.
Yes.
Quickly go through it. So number 1, authority, expert positioning. Number 2, attract your ideal clients. Number 3, automated sales systems. Number 4, converting high ticket sales. And then number 5, delivering your coaching and make it deliver time and time again. So, I mean, nailed it in 5 steps. Take me through, first of all, number 1, becoming the expert and positioning yourself as an expert.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when going online is being way too much of a generalist. If you think about the medical field, you have the general doctor and you have the brain surgeon, right? The general doctor, you could find them in any zip code here in the States, and they take on anyone. Whereas a brain surgeon is highly specialized. They only take on people through a referral, and you know, there's a difference. You can't just go up to any brain surgeon. You have to find them. You have to be referred to them. So essentially, the average doctor in the States earns like 6 figures. The average brain surgeon earns 7 figures. So when you're taking your business online, it's the same exact thing. Many people go very general, like weight loss or muscle building. It's a very saturated marketplace, right? There's a lot of competition. billion-dollar brands are competing there. So as you're developing your target market, you want to focus on a very, very niche demographic, right? One example would be one of my students. He focuses on busy working moms who are entrepreneurs, executives, and CEOs aged 29 to 55, right? So that's an ultra niche, and that's so much easier to dominate as opposed to like a really wide niche.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, so you find your niche. Do you have any sort of specific tips to help people find a niche that works well with them, that they will work well with?
Yeah, absolutely. So my business is called Online Super Coach. And one of the biggest philosophies that we have is helping people to discover their superpowers. I feel like everyone has this innate superpower that when they are performing it, they're flowing, their energy increases, they're at a high creative state, and they're born to do it, right? So that's one part of it. It's like, what is your superpower? What is this amazing gift that you have to help your clients? Many people do it in person. Now can you use an amazing technology like yours to leverage it and help the masses? So that's one, finding out your superpower. One great way to do that is to literally just email the 20 of the closest people in your life and say, hey, I just have a quick question for you. What do you think is my superpower? And people will start telling you, and patterns will become apparent, and then you just follow the patterns, and that really shows you what your superpower is. The second thing is ask yourself this question: what pain do I want to heal in the world? So what is a specific pain that you want to eradicate, right? So let's say if a person wants to get rid of obesity, right? They could start there. So understanding that obesity is a pain that many people face. Perhaps a person has faced it themselves and they've overcame it. So they're just getting closer to getting into that target market. And one thing one must realize is that we are the 2.0 versions of our clients. Typically, we overcame a pain or a struggle and we've mastered it. And now we can coach other people on helping alleviate that. Nice. The third and final thing is once you understand your superpower, once you understand the pain that you want to heal in the world, who do you want to be a superhero to? So imagine you have this amazing gift, this superpower. Who do you want to serve, right? What is the specific demographic? If you had a business that would span over the next 20 to 40 years and you could be the dominant expert in it, who do you want to serve? Who do you want to be a hero to?
Wicked. Nah, that sounds I like that. Sending 20 emails to 20 good friends is genius. So simple. I mean, so once you found your niche, what do you do, or how do you help people find their way to become the expert in that niche?
Well, you know, as I mentioned, like once you tend to understand your place in the marketplace, right, your expert authority positioning, and then you find out who you want to serve, who you want to be a superhero to, then it's the matter of understanding the power of marketing, right? Having different marketing systems out on the internet to attract your ideal clients. So one thing that I found is in terms of online training, there's 3 main marketing channels that work incredibly well. One is free marketing, right? Using Facebook, Instagram, your email list, organic, completely, you know, just basically it's free, it's organic. Number 2 is using paid marketing, right? This is my personal favorite, is utilizing paid ads on Facebook, on YouTube, kind of like a faucet, right? You pay for the ads, you have a flow of leads that are coming in, you turn it off when you have enough. And the third is partnerships. It's collaborating with someone who has a similar target client, but is non-competitive. This is a partnership right here, right? We're both serving the same person we want to be heroes to, but we're non-competitive. I support what you do, you support what I do. And it's essentially, once you know who you want to be a hero to, you want to attract these people into your world. So it's utilizing free marketing, paid marketing, and partnership marketing to have these people come into your marketing system.
Like it. And really it all just works as one whole together. So nice that you put it all together in that sort of way. I mean, it sort of moves quite nicely into how do you use all of that marketing to actually target and attract your ideal clients? So how do you get those paid ads? How do you get your content out to the people that you want to see it?
Great question. So as we know, people are inspired into action when you trigger their pain, right? There's a wise copywriter, his name was Robert Collier, said you want to enter the conversations in your prospects' minds. So what is this person you want to be a hero to? What is their pillow talk in terms of like when they're sitting, or when they're lying down in bed in the middle of the night and they're thinking about their pain and their problems, their fears, their frustrations, what do they stay up at night about, right? And once you start to understand that, right, let's say if you're focusing on an obese father who used to be an athlete, and now he's in a place where he's not athletic, he's not flexible, and he has aches and pains. So he could be thinking at night like, wow, I used to play sports, I used to be in great shape, now I'm overweight and I really don't feel like a man, right? These are some things that are very deep, and he may not express them consciously, but when you could dictate that in your marketing, that gentleman feels understood. And the more a person feels understood, the more aligned they are with your message, and also they feel that you are the answer to their problem. So one thing you want to do is do extensive research on your target client and figure out their fears, frustrations, dreams, and aspirations. And one great way of doing that is using the power of social media. So let's say if I'm focusing on dads who used to be athletes, who are 40 and up, who have families, they're out of shape, I would just write a simple text post, right? Attention dads, what are your biggest struggles when it comes to fitness? And then boom, 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 the comments start lighting up. And all those comments are powerful marketing pieces, right? You can create videos off of that, emails, text posts, and you're getting inside their minds. They're expressing that openly, and you're understanding what their biggest struggles are.
Yeah, genius. So simple.
So simple.
Just very quickly, a couple of people have said in the comments that they're struggling to see you. Can you tilt your camera a little bit down?
Okay.
You're just a little bit at the bottom of the screen. Okay,
sounds good. I will fix this. Actually, I'm broadcasting this live as well on my Facebook, so it's awesome.
Right, we got you. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Right, that slightly lost my chain of thought, but I'll be back.
I mean, finding out like your target client pain points, right? So we said basically just making posts on social media, asking relevant questions to determine their fears and their dreams. And a more strategic way is using a survey. There's a free survey called SurveyMonkey that I use. And essentially, you want to send this survey to as many of your target clients as possible. So on social media, they're going to share a certain percentage of it, right? Because they know that their answer is exposed to many others. When you email it to them, it's more private. People share far more in an email or in a conversation than they would on social media. So when you're in this research phase, start emailing your target clients, or even jump on the phone with them. Let's say you have a bunch of dads, or you find a Facebook group with a bunch of dads, start connecting with them and say, hey, do you mind if I interview you? And then ask them the tough questions. What are your biggest fears? What are your biggest struggles with fitness? If I could wave a magic wand, what would you like to happen in terms of your fitness in a heartbeat? You know, so these type of questions start to expose these different pain points, which in turn you would use in your marketing to attract them into your funnel.
Love it. Love it. No, that is genius. I mean, and then do you have favorite methods? Take away the paid stuff, because paid advertising, you can obviously choose who you put the ads in front of. But organically, do you have a sort of favorite method to, once you've got that message and once you're speaking their language, to actually put your content right in front of them where they can find it?
Absolutely. So I'm a big believer in video, right? Yeah. We're on video right now. I'm actually on Facebook Live as well, but I tend to do anything from like 5 to 7 videos a week. And I find video marketing is very, very powerful in terms of warming up your prospects, okay? So in the world of the internet, most of the leads that are coming in are ice cold leads. Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, they're like a 1 or a 2. Yeah. Once you get to 10, they know, like, and trust you. So video is a platform that increases the warm-up ability, okay? When I'm on video, I'm connecting authentically, especially live, right? I can't edit this. If I mess up, I mess up.
So well, I did that already, so we're all right.
No, exactly. Like I'm just fully exposing myself, but the more I expose myself, the more vulnerable I am, and the more I connect with people. So I tell my students to follow a simple formula when doing video that will give people a ton of value, but at the same time, turn those likes into leads, okay? So here's the formula. It's very simple. It's problem, process, call to action, okay? So I put a video on my Facebook. I'm stating a big problem. I'm discussing a specific process, and I have a specific call to action, okay? So I like to do selfie videos on my camera just like this, press record. Hey guys, I have a really awesome trick that will help you lose up to 2 inches of belly fat over the next 30 days. I'll share this process with you. I've tested with many of my clients. All you have to do is like this video, and I'll message you with a short video of this belly fat process, okay? Super simple, could be done in 1 minute, but I'm stating a problem. Belly fat, the people that have belly fat, their ears are perked up and they're like, hi, I want to know about that, right? And then the next thing is you're discussing a process. You have a high value video that's showing this trick, curiosity, mystery, simple call to action, like this post, they like it, you just slide up in their DMs and you start that conversation.
Wicked, wicked, that's awesome. I've seen a lot of students, I'm actually sort of Facebook friends with a number of people that have worked with you. And something common I see in them is that they quite often do a specific video where it's talking about their story, their struggles, and then how they've sort of overcome that. And it's kind of a brave coming out almost, that they have problems as well, they have hardships. Is that something you teach and you sort of use to build a connection with clients and help to bring people into online services?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll sum it up with this line.
Oh.
People don't buy coaching, they buy coaches, okay?
Yeah.
Essentially, when you decide that you're going to be an online coach, you're deciding to share your personality. People buy you, they're not buying your certifications or your background or your features of your program, right? So they're buying you. So how can you be more authentic and vulnerable? And that's one of the first things I have my students do, put out a really authentic video discussing a story or a challenge that they overcame. Not many people know about it, but this is their first time exposing it to the world. So they're immediately being in a place where they're ultra vulnerable and sharing from the heart, right? And that's what connects people in a really powerful way, because so many people feel like, well, I'm gonna add a ton of value by just getting tips and strategies and it features my program. And that's great, there's a time and a place for that, but there's also a place of authentic connection. So sharing your personal story shares your emotions, your personality, what makes you you. And one of the best stories is a why story, okay? So I became a fitness professional because of this specific reason. I went through this hard pain and turmoil and it changed my life. And because of that, I am so focused on serving you because I don't want you to go through that, right? So a why story connects people on a very visceral level.
No, it's great. I mean, as I say, I've seen those videos and I've seen them from your students particularly, and the reaction to them is incredible, isn't it? I mean, comments, likes, shares on those videos is absolutely massive. So I think genius again coming from you.
Yeah, and also one more thing, Tim. You know, the thing is, like, you're a coach or a fitness professional, many people look to us as being superheroes, right? We have phenomenal physical stature, we're positive, we're confident, we're putting ourselves out there. So we have all these great things, we come off as perfect. But the moment we share something vulnerable, we show our humanness, right? I'm not always a superhero. This is my origin story. And these are the pains that I go through on a daily basis. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is not Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. This is someone who I can relate to, who I can connect to, you know? Yeah. And when you connect with people, obviously, they're more receptive to everything that you do.
Cool. No, very nice. Quick question in the comments from Greg. Just says, any success using Twitter for prospecting with these type of questions?
Well, Greg, the first question I have for you is your target market on Twitter, okay? So that's the first thing you have to determine, right? So let's say, for example, if my specific target market are female lawyers from 40 to 60, I'm not gonna go on Twitter, I'm gonna go on LinkedIn, right? When you go on LinkedIn, you can find those specific people. And here's an actual hack. This is like a top secret thing I share with my students, but because Tim's my boy, I'm gonna share it here.
Thanks very much.
There's a software called Lead Fuse. It's a subscription software. And what it actually does, you basically type in your demographic. Let's say it's female attorneys, age 30 to 50 in the United States. What it does, it actually goes onto the internet and attracts like thousands and thousands of these leads, extracts them and puts it into a CSV file. And you have this list of this specific demographic with this software. You could do two things. Number one, you create a Facebook ad that's a lookalike audience that only shows to those people, right? Number two, you slowly upload them into your email provider and start adding value to them, and then enroll them into your online coaching system.
That's genius. I've actually written it down myself. Got a nice little note. Yeah, what a great shortcut that is. I mean, I think you made the point there perfectly, but I'd just sort of quickly go back to it briefly. Social media platforms, pretty much as you said, choose the one that your target clients are going to be on. Would you say there is a best one, or just find where your clients are going to be hanging out, your potential clients, and work with that one?
Well, you know, of course, your target clients, that's primary, but I feel that Facebook is one that is not going anywhere. It's only going to get better and more profound. And, you know, Mark Zuckerberg's a smart dude, and he's always adding these features to Facebook. So basically, make sure you're always on Facebook, organic, build that out, because that takes time. And most importantly, like I said, if you're dealing with doctors or attorneys or CEOs, go on LinkedIn, right? You're going to find them there. And then use the software recommended, Lead Fuse. I think Joe asked, what's the name of the program? It's LEADFUZE.
Cool. Important change, that one. Yeah, there's another question just saying, AJ, how long did it take you to build up your audience, and how can you do it quickly? But I think you kind of touched on a couple of things to do it quickly, but how long does it take to build that audience?
Well, it was painfully slow when I was not posting a lot. But the moment I started doing videos, all of a sudden my audience grew. Right now, let's say Facebook, my organic page, that is like a big part of my marketing. I literally fill out all my seminars from my Facebook. I get a lot of leads from it. I'm right now getting 1,000 new followers a month on my Facebook. Right? I'm already maxed out with 5,000 friends. I have like 1,000 friend requests. And I'll tell you what, the secret of that is, it's the power of video. So every single time I post a video on my Facebook profile, it gets shares, likes, thousands of views. But all of a sudden on a daily basis, I get 20, 30 new followers. And like I said, 1,000 followers a month, it's just growing rapidly, but it's the power of video. So Michelle, to answer your question, if you're having a slow following, start posting videos, start going live. Actually, my Facebook just had the feature of doing live audio. So I did my first audio broadcast. So you don't have to be on video, right? So I got all dressed up for Tim's, but usually I work from home and I don't wear pants. I just, you know, hang out nice and comfortable. So that's the power of audio, create a podcast. So like I said, find out your medium and then use that specific social media to reach out to the masses.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so once you found clients or your ideal client, you've got your message kind of in front of them, and you sort of built up your audience. Going on to the next step in the process, where do you send them, and what's the next step from there to move them along the process?
Great question. All right, so like there's a big misconception with online coaching is the fact that like once you have the client, then you want to boom, sell them into your package. Right? That is wrong. It's the same thing as a dude going to a bar and finding the first woman that he sees and going up there and saying, hey, would you like to have sex? Right? It's just like way too fast, way too quick, right? But if the guy is smooth and he's like, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? And he gets to know her better. He buys her a drink, gets her phone number, takes her on a date, maybe a date or two. Then he has sex. Then he's warmed her up sufficiently and she feels safe with him. She's comfortable. On that scale of 1 to 10, she was at a 1 at the bar and then 10 in the bedroom, right? So with the online business, it's the same exact thing. It's very difficult to get a person from 1 to 10 if you're just selling them on the spot. I'm talking about selling higher end programs. I have my students sell starting out like $1,000, $2,000 programs. I have a student named Erin who I'm interviewing my podcast on Thursday. She sold a $48,000 online fitness package, okay? So she has one of the highest packages sold, but she did sufficient warm up, okay? So that 48K package was a subject of knowing, liking, and trusting, exhibiting value, and then making the offer. So when a person comes in to your marketing funnel, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, you want to have a warm-up system in place. where they get to see your value, your credibility, and they see your personality. So there's 3 great warm-up systems that I'll share with you that work remarkably well. And it's good to have all 3 depending on the type of lead that comes in. So number 1 is an email autoresponder, okay? So it's a series of emails that let people know, like, and trust you. Their daily emails are automated. They'll show your credibility, clients you've helped. It'll add some value, some personality stuff. Number 2 is a video series. This works if you're doing 3 to 4 videos in a row. In each of those videos, you're warming people up, okay? So I was in a mastermind with this guy named Jeff Walker, and he created this 4-video series. It's called the Product Launch Formula. It works really well. It's been split tested, you know, over the past 10 years over the internet. That's a really good one because most people will just see one video. They'll like you enough to call you up and hire you, okay? And the third one, which is my personal favorite, is a webinar, okay? So this is a webinar right here. You can see it's very interactive, it's very powerful. But if you do a really awesome webinar, you could automate it. You could do a 30-minute webinar that lets people see, you know, your skill sets, what you've accomplished, some clients before and afters, and a few things about your program, and then you have a call to action there. So basically, once you have these warm-up vehicles in place, then it automates the know, like, and trust process for your potential clients.
Yeah, it's brilliant, brilliant. So moving from that, we've warmed them up. They love you, taking them from steps 1 all the way through to 10. What's your process to actually get people, sell people your program? So you got high-end packages, $1,000 through to sort of $5,000 or even $48,000. I mean, what do you do? Do you get people on the phone, or do you sort of send them to a website, or what's the process there?
Great question. So typically, if you're selling something for less than $1,000, you can sell it directly off the webinar, right? It's going to take some iterations and some editing, and then you'll be able to sell it off the webinar itself. Anything over $1,000 will require a sale phone call, okay? Because once you have a person on the phone, you could further warm them up, and also they'll have that, like, the main question a person has before they invest in anything is, will this work for me, okay? So on that phone call, you're really answering that, will this work for me? And you're giving them, like I said, a more of a, like an emotional reason, but they trust you more by speaking to you. You're answering any specific questions that they have. So I like to use my warm-up vehicles as more of like doing the heavy lifting. So the autoresponder, the video series, the webinar warms people up sufficiently, let's say from a 1 to a 7 or 8, and then you do a simple, quick phone call and then enroll them into your high-end packages.
Yeah, nice, very nice. I mean, again, when I was doing a bit of research on you, I've heard you talk about, probably on the phone, but I've heard you talk about the 5 whys, just to get to people's real pain points and to get to their emotions. I'm assuming that is on the phone. You ask the 5 whys, and can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, people do not take action unless you trigger their pain points, right? I think about myself. I've had a lot of bad habits in my life, but it wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I decided to make a change. You know, I'm very open with this, but I had a lot of problems with drugs and alcohol growing up. You know, I was doing ecstasy, crystal meth. I was drinking till I blacked out. I went to the ER a few times because I overdosed from drugs, right? So these are numerous times when I was experiencing pain, but it wasn't until I had this experience when I was in a coma for 1 week that changed my life, right? That was about 10 years ago. And that excruciating pain forced me to actually take action to improve my life. Same thing when you're discussing your program with your clients, right? You want to get into their deepest pain, peeling away multiple layers to find out why they need to take action immediately, right? Let's say they jump on the phone with you. They know that you could help them, but they don't see the urgency of their problem. So the 5 whys is a really powerful way to show the person the urgency of the pain that they're in, okay? And it's super simple. You ask why 5 times for every single response a person gives you. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say a busy working mom calls you up and she says, Tim, I want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? Well, I think I would feel better if I lost 20 pounds. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, the whole thing is my clothes have not been fitting that well over the past few years. So why have your clothes not been fitting that well? Well, I don't know. It's just kind of like, I feel like when I used to wear clothes, my husband used to look at me, but now he doesn't look at me. Okay, why does it bother that your husband doesn't look at you? All right, well, Tim, here's what happened. The other day, we were in a mall, and I just catch my husband staring at other women's asses, and I can't stop it, and it's really ruining my self-esteem. We haven't had sex in 2 months, and I just can't live like this anymore. Oh, so that's why you called me, right? So you're going into that deep pain point. You got to peel away the multiple layers. Most people stop at, oh, you want to lose weight? Let me tell you about my program, right? So keep on digging deeper and deeper and deeper until you get the real reason.
Nice, nice. And then show them how you can provide a solution.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because like I said earlier, when you can articulate the pains and the problems of your prospects better than they can, subconsciously, they feel that you have the solution. So just by asking those questions and getting them to that point of pain, they realize they need to make a change. And because you're in such close proximity, you're the person to take them to the promised land.
Yeah, yeah, nice, nice. I mean, is there anything else on that sort of phone call that you would suggest people do, or is it just really that simple? You go into the whys and the deeper problems, and then provide a solution and offer it to them.
Yeah, like, it's very, very similar to my video formula. It's problem, process, call to action. So in the beginning of the call, you want to go deep into the 5 whys. Well, right when you start the call, I like to control 2 things: control the agenda and control the time. So, hey, Tim, thanks for reaching out to me. I just want to give you a heads up. I got about 30 minutes for this call, so we have to be very brisk. I have another call right after you. Is that cool? Yeah, sure. Second thing, I'm gonna be asking you a series of questions to see if or how I can help you. And if I can't help you, we'll discuss a solution. If I cannot help you, I'll promise to lead you in the right direction, okay? So that does something very, very powerful. Right off the bat, you're controlling the frame. And those of you that understand the power of frame control, you have an upper hand on that call. And right after you ask those 2 questions, my favorite question is, so curious, why now and why me? Okay, so all of a sudden you're cutting through a lot of clutter, and a person is selling themselves to you. Why are they talking to you right now, and what is the main reason? Okay, so, Tim, I see your videos on Facebook and they're really inspirational, and I feel that you could help me with losing weight. Why do you want to lose weight? And then you go into that 5 whys loop for every single thing, right? And then a great thing to do after that is called a Dan Sullivan question. All right, this is the most powerful questions you could ask, and I never do a sales call. I tell my students, do not do a sales call unless you ask this question, and it's very simple. So Tim, let's say we were to meet 3 months from now, 3 months in the future. If we were working together, looking back, what progress would you have to make for you to be happy with your transformation? All right, so this does 2 things. It presupposes that we're going to work together. You're going to create a timeline, 3 months. Why? Because I'm selling a 3-month online coaching program. And the thing, you create a compelling future. Okay, so once you get a person to the depths of hell and they're in a place of like understanding that they need to create an urgent solution, you then go into creating a compelling future, a vision. What do you want, right? Once you ask them what they want, a great follow-up question is this. So Tim, I'm glad that you're very transparent about what you want over the next 3 months. And I have no doubt in my mind that we can help get you there. But I have another question, Tim, because you know yourself better than anyone else. What do you feel you need in order to accomplish this transformation? And then the person goes into exactly what they need. Okay, this is a secret where a lot of people drop the ball because they go, okay, well, here's my program. My program has this, 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 this. They go about all the features of their program or the qualifications, but a person will tell you exactly what they need. 90% of the time, it has to do with nutrition, workouts, cardio, mindset, accountability, and then you tailor make your program to fulfill those needs. Well, I would love it if someone showed me how to eat. No problem. I actually have a really awesome nutrition plan that's going to tell you how to eat, what to eat. It's super simple and customized for you. Well, I don't know what type of workout to do. Well, I'm using this amazing app called PT Distinction. It'll send you specific workouts that are customized for you and hold you accountable and track you with those. And then you're just giving them these bullets that are fitting their specific needs. So when you do that, you're really tailor making a customized solution for them, and they feel like, wow, this will really help me. And then the last part is the call to action, where you make your offer.
Genius. Again, so simple. You're basically making them sell themselves into your program. It's fantastic. Yes. Love it. I mean, that really sort of takes us through the converting high ticket offers bit. But I'd like to go a little bit into that. How do you set up your packages and prices and that sort of thing? How do you set up packages, price points, and what you offer in those packages?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my whole thing is you got to create your own life vision, you know. And one thing I have a lot of my students do, especially when I have retreats here in my house and I do seminars twice a year in New York City. They're like major seminars, a few hundred people coming. The moment that they come in, the first thing that we do is that we create what is your ideal life vision. Okay, so I make sure people write down on a piece of paper their ideal life in terms of the house they want to live in, the car they want to drive, the career they want to have, the amount of money of their annual income, the amount of freedom, how they spend time with their family, how they spend time with their friends, just everything in explicit detail. And one of the biggest things to determine once you create your ideal life vision is if you say to yourself, let's say I want to develop an online coaching business, and in 1 year, I want to make $100,000, okay? That is the goal, $100,000. Well, then you divide that by 12, which is $8,000 a month. And then you divide that by 4, which is $2,000, okay? So basically, you could determine very quickly like your ideal life, the amount of expenses that you want, how much profit you want to make, and then you reverse engineer that to like what type of package you want to sell. So let's say if I want to make $8,000 a month, all I have to do is sell 4 $2,000 online coaching packages, okay? So then I brainstorm what would be $2,000 of value in an online program, okay? So let's say I just figure out, a simple time frame, 12 weeks, okay? In 12 weeks, here are the things I'll provide so the person feels like they're getting a ton of value at $2,000, and then you're just basically putting the puzzle pieces together, okay? That is the beauty of online personal training and online coaching. There is no like competitive based pricing, right? Where let's say if you go to a local gym, there's different gyms and boot camps. A personal training session is relative to your zip code, right? Your geography. So if a person's charging $75 an hour, someone charges 70, it's around the same ballpark. Where online, you are a specialist, a specific authority expert, so you can name your own prices, right? Like my client Erin, she has a 1 year, $48,000 program, okay? Now, she's not comparing herself to the local gym or the local boot camp. She creates her own dream come true 12-month experience and then sells that as her primary program, right? So in terms of pricing, you could price it whatever you want. It's number one, how much value do you have in the program? And number two, how much confidence do you have in yourself? Self-belief is everything. So when you believe that you are worth a $2,000 online package, your client believes that as well, all right? So hope that answers that question.
Yeah, very well. And I think also breaking it down like that makes it sound so much more manageable. $100,000 a year, actually you're selling 4 packages worth $2,000 a month. It's, it makes it a lot more easy. And I think it puts the small steps into people's minds that they need to take. So yeah, fantastic.
I'll tell you from example myself, like for many years, I wanted to become a self-made millionaire, right? And it was like, oh my God, this big scary goal of $1 million, having 7 figures of revenue. But then once I did that mathematical equation, if I sell a $5,000 program, all I have to do is sell 16 per month. If I sell 16 per month, that's $83,000 a month, and that's $1 million in revenue. So I'm gonna put all my blood, sweat, and tears into selling 16 programs. All I gotta do is sell 4 a week. So that got my brain to simplify, and all I gotta do is constantly market myself, figure out how to get 4 people enrolled into my online program every single week. And as long as I do that, I focus on this day-to-day process, I'll have $1 million of revenue. And that's what got me there. Essentially, I had my first month where I closed 16 people, and I saw the possibilities, and that created momentum, and it just went up from there. But it all comes with deciding what that year number is, and then just doing the mathematical equation until you figure out what you have to do on a daily basis.
Amazing, amazing. And for the online training, the sort of coaching you provide, how much of that is automated to deliver, and how much of that is you doing it personally for each person and changing it for each person?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I truly feel that everyone should have like a variety of different programs. So I like to keep it between like 2 different offerings. I'm just a big believer in simplicity, and you can have like one type of automated program, which is probably like group, or it's leverage. Let's say you have this 12-week online infrastructure that a person just goes through week by week, and they're getting exercises, workouts, accountability. You could use an amazing app like PT Distinction, being in a place where they're going through this process and they don't get a lot of your time and energy using the apps, using a Facebook group, using a weekly group call. That's how they get their coaching. So that's leverage. Perhaps you could sell that for like $1,000 or $2,000. And then you want to have an ultra high-end VIP type program. Like the program my client Erin has is a $48,000 program, and that's like one-on-one. So she does like a weekly call, and she does everything else, but it's obviously a lot more intensive. And then she also, I believe, does like a 1-day in-person. So you want to have like a leveraged like flagship program, and then an ultra high VIP, like dream come true, the best superpower you could deliver.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, agreed completely on that. Sort of after that, so you got a 12-week package, end of 12 week, what happens? They disappear from sight, or do you have something with them after that?
Well, you know, the big thing is obviously to create a long-term bond with your clients. Same thing, right? If a guy's looking to get a girlfriend, he eventually wants a wife. So that same guy in the bar where he's going to start that conversation, his long-term mind is like, how can I keep this relationship for as long as possible? So you enroll them for that 12 weeks initially, and then at the 10th or 11th week, you want to have an upsell conversation, saying that, all right, you know, Tim, we've been working really well together, and I'm so proud of your progress, but I know we still have a lot more to go. So here's a proposition for you to continue our coaching. I have 2 options. One would be to jump into my VIP Dream Come True high-end program, or we could continue this program that you're currently in at a discounted month-to-month rate.
Okay, nice, very nice. Just got a quick question, Fabian. If you're just starting out, how can you sell coaching for $2,000 per month? Doesn't sound realistic. Just, I mean, that was $2,000 for 12 weeks, wasn't it, rather than per month?
Yeah, it wasn't per month, but nonetheless, the whole thing, Fabian, is you want to start with where you are. Okay, I'm just talking about my students and in my program, but also you have to understand, like, when I coach them, I give them a lot of templates, I give them a lot of assistance, I help them set up their marketing vehicles. So they're having an upper hand because they have all these things doing the work for them. So by the time they talk to a person, the marketing has done the heavy lifting. It's an easier conversation. But let's say you're starting out, start with a $200 program, sell that first. Once you sell $200, go to $300, go to $400, $500. That's how I got there. I didn't sell a $5,000 program the moment I started coaching, right? I sold a $97 ebook. That was like my first online offering, and then I just went up from there. And obviously, the more confidence you have, the more value you put into your program, you can increase your prices over time.
Yeah, yeah, nice. I think the other thing with that, just to add to what you just said, is actually it goes back to what AJ's been talking about before, is actually you find your target market, you become the expert, you build that audience and build the 1 through to 10, and by then it becomes a much more realistic prospect. So
exactly.
yeah, add to what you said there. Right. I mean, continuing on, when you're sort of going through and you get someone onto your monthly ongoing program after the 12 weeks, do you sell them back into the same flagship at whatever it is monthly, or do you just give them continuing new stuff all the time just to keep their progress going and keep them moving towards their goals after that?
I personally just do more of like an accountability program, right? So let's say, for example, if I'm using, let's say, PT Distinction as like my core app, I wouldn't create new content, but it would just be using PT Distinction to send programs to basically hold them accountable, but not create like a whole new 12-week program, right? That's one option. But like I said, if you're in a specific target market, you can't just hold people accountable, you need constant new programming. Let's say you're working with a bodybuilder, and the first 12 weeks is like contest preparation, getting you ready for a show. The next 12 weeks could be off season and reverse dieting, maintaining the muscle. And it's kind of working on a different goal, but it's the same target market. So there's two schools of thought in terms of that.
Yeah, nice, very nice. I saw a recent post you did, and you were talking about overthinking and how overthinking has damaged your mindset in a way at times and put you in a mindset of anxiety and fear, and how it sort of holds back a lot of people, and a little bit about how you've overcome that. So could you just talk a little bit about overthinking and how you overcome that and move through that?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. So for many years, I was a chronic overthinker. In fact, I used to deal with analysis paralysis, because when I was making the transition from personal training to building my online coaching business, I was like taking in so much information. I was reading books and getting information products and going to seminars, and my mind was full of ideas. And when it came down to taking action, I was so overwhelmed that I couldn't take action. So I got to this place of like, what do I do? Where do I go? And I realized that I'm not alone in this, right? Anyone who's trying to develop like a new business model or have massive growth, they're doing their research, they're getting information, and they're figuring out a game plan. But what ends up happening is you overthink it. And when you overthink it, you don't do anything. So what actually helped me at the time, this was around 2009, 2010, was I hired a mentor. There's a gentleman named Chris McCombs. He's an old school online fitness guy, and he was my first coach. And I remember like the first time I invested in him, it was a few $1,000s, money that I didn't have to put on my credit card. And I remember like on that first phone call, the first thing he said to me, he's like, AJ, you're a smart dude, but you're overthinking this thing way too much. Forget about everything you know and just focus on these 3 action steps. Do these 3 things and we're gonna get you progress. So I'm like, wow, that's it? Just these 3 things? Yeah, sure. Like, I don't wanna look like an idiot. I just paid this guy a few $1,000s and I don't wanna let him down. I wanna follow through, and I don't wanna lose my money. So I followed everything the guy told me. I did those 3 things and I started getting traction. They gave me another 3 things, and literally within a month's time, I made a return on my investment, and I saw the power of coaching, and I said, wow, like I don't have to figure it all out. This guy just tells me the step-by-step process. I follow it and then I get to the promised land. So that's one thing that helped me with overthinking, is hiring coaches and mentors. That was my first coach. And since then, I've had tons of different coaches. Right now, my biggest expense is my personal education. I have one coach, I pay him $36,000 a year. I'm in another mastermind, it's $25,000 a year. It's constantly investing in myself. And some might say like, you're an idiot for spending so much, right? But my revenue has doubled every single year, right? Like, there is no coincidence to the amount you invest in yourself, to the amount of self-value and worth that you have. Because I pay this guy $36,000, I'm not afraid to ask someone else for $36,000. Because I'm like, I'm paying this guy, why not me, right? And you are a mirror of your clients. So if you're not investing in yourself, you can't expect your clients to invest in you. Like, I'm gonna sell a $5,000 program. Well, have you invested $5,000 in a mentor? Because once you take that commitment, people will commit to you as well. So yeah. What helps me, like I said, I love reading books, but sometimes get overwhelmed with the amount of notes and the quotes from a book, and I just hire a mentor. So that's my secret to success, to avoid overthinking. Yeah.
Nice. James has written a question here. Going back to the three steps Chris McCombs gave you. What were they? Do you remember what they were?
Wow, that's going back like 8 years ago. But it was like a lot of like low-hanging fruit stuff. It was stuff that like I kind of knew to do, but I didn't do it unless someone put a gun to my head and forced me to. But it was really just like reaching out to your old clients and reconnecting them into your new online program. It was basically just basically going to your current clients. Let's say I was doing in-person training at the time, and then enrolling and upselling them into my online program. It was stuff that was like so simple, and the third was asking for referrals. You know, that like we know what to do, but we don't do it because it's too simple and it's too easy. But when a coach tells us to do it, we do it. And then I'm like, whoa, my God, I just made a few $1,000s without even having to get new clients enrolled, you know? So that's a cool thing. Like right now at your disposal, you have so much low-hanging fruit.
Nice, nice. It's very true as well. People forget that stuff, and it's pretty much works every time, doesn't it, to get you started?
Yeah.
Another question from Clayton. AJ, do you recommend doing lower priced front-end offer, e.g. a 28-day challenge before upselling into your flagship program? And he talks about a podcast you did with Austin Gravitz, and it sounds like it works well for him. So.
Oh, yeah. I recently did a podcast with my student, Austin Gravitz. He has a really inspirational story. About a year ago, he was an Uber driver, and he was making like, $600 a month. And he started listening to my podcast on his drives on Uber. And all of a sudden, it started getting him inspired to like, wow, like, why am I driving this Uber? I should be an online fitness coach. And then last April, he came to my seminar for the first time. And when he was there, he just was taking notes and basically studying it. And he signed up for my coaching program. And literally, as soon as he came to my seminar and signed up for coaching, in about 3 months' time, he scaled his income to $10,000 a month. He went fully online. He stopped driving an Uber. He actually bought an apartment for him and his girlfriend. And now he's like a stud. He's on Facebook and he's marketing his services. Like he's doing a huge thing. Like he's literally like 10x his income in his life in the past year just from online fitness coaching, right? So he has a specific strategy and it works well for him. Like for me personally, I don't do any low-end offers. The low-end thing that I have is like a seminar or like, it's basically an in-person event. But for my coaching, I only do high-end. But my students, like many other online coaches, they have different philosophies. So Austin's philosophy is selling a 28-day program on the front end. So essentially it's a lower price point. I believe it's $200. And he gets people on social media, sells sometimes 20, 30 of those at a time. They sign up into that. He does a powerful 28-day transformation with that group. And then he just over-delivers to that group. So by the end of that 28 days, he upsells them into his $1,000, $2,000 programs.
Nice, nice. So yeah, I mean, works well for some, but different things for different people, I suppose.
Yeah, like Tim, I mentioned to you, I love simplicity. So if I have a $5,000 program and I'm selling 20 to 40 per month, then all my energy is put into that, right? And obviously we all have the temptation to have a lower price program, but then that creates more complexity. And as I mentioned, like simplicity is my secret to success. So the more simple you have your business model, right? If you say I want to make $8,000 a month, just by selling 4 $2,000 programs, if you just put your mind to it and you add value, you make offers, you'll sell those 4 easily. And plus you could track it a lot better.
That's awesome. I'd just like to throw something sort of at you, going back to something you said before and what you've just said now. If, for example, a trainer particularly hates selling on the phone, and you can sell a lower price package, you could automate the sale. If you didn't want to go on the phone, would that be a good step to take people, say from your webinar, you sell off the webinar, your lower price package, and then move them into the higher price package without using that phone call? Or do you think everyone should just basically get on the phone and use it to sell?
I mean, that's a really good question because what I do for my students is basically I give them like webinar templates. So it's kind of like a done for you webinar, and then like they have 2 options. So like some of them on that webinar sell like an application, a phone call, and the webinar just warms people up and they sell on the phone. And then other people will sell directly on the webinar. They use the same exact template and they'll sell like a $97 or $197 program. Okay. Yeah. The thing you have to understand is it's a lot harder to sell directly on the webinar. So let's say you'll never get it like 100% right the first time. Even if you have a template, you got to test and tweak. So maybe it'll take 2 or 3 webinars if you have a template in place to like sell that phone call application. Because that's simple, right? You're not selling anything. No one's taking their credit card out. They're just filling out a form. But it may take 10 to 20 webinar variations where you could sell on the webinar itself, okay? So what I recommend my students do is essentially do a live webinar every single week until you get your desired outcome. And then once you get the desired conversion rate, then you automate that webinar, you make it evergreen, and you send Facebook traffic to it, okay? That's essentially what I did coming up, where basically I suck at webinars. The first webinar I had, I am so proud of it. I put it out into the world and nobody showed up. It was just like me standing there like crickets, like what's going on here? And then the next week I launched it again and 3 people showed up. After 5 minutes, they left. I felt like a loser.
Okay.
But I'm like, I gotta get this right. My whole life depends on this. And then I did another webinar, then more people showed up. And eventually I got my first sale after like the first 6 weeks of doing webinars every single week. And then I realized, well, okay, I gotta get at least 20 sales on this webinar before I can automate it. And I just kept on doing it and fine tuning it. And then I captured one, which was like me flowing at high energy. I was closing like a boss. And then I just recorded that webinar and I automated it. And then I just put it on Facebook ads, and that webinar is still running for me, bringing in clientele. So that's kind of like the process of it, right? Like you have to create something that converts like a mofo and then automate it and then can and clone it over and over and over again.
Nice, love that. I think that brings up another great point. I mean, people look at you and they say super successful, doing really well, making 7 figures with multiple different businesses and helping other people to do exactly the same. But you know, there was a point where you were doing webinars and no one was turning up. So I mean, a lot of people are at that point now. So what would you say to those people regarding how you think about people not turning up to a webinar, and then what the response is to go from there to take you to where you are now, as in just going for it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things when I was first starting out, Tim, was I had a lot of limiting beliefs and a lot of stories, like negative stories that were not true. So I remember like I would get in a sales call with someone, and I would sell my $1,000 online fitness program. And then at the end of the call, they would just say like, oh, that's out of my budget. I can't afford that. That's a lot of money. And I'd be like, oh my God, then this is a lot of money. Damn, I guess no one's buying $1,000 online fitness programs because this person said it's a lot of money. So I think I'm wasting my time. Maybe I should go back to personal training and just do that, because this online thing doesn't work, you know? Like you could create a limiting belief and actually live that. And the one thing I've learned is there are no stories, there are no limiting beliefs. So like I have a specific goal. Let's say I want to make $100,000 a month. It's like, I don't care if it's going to take me 1 year or 10 years, I'm going to hit that goal. There is a formula to achieving anything you want in life. And a lot of it is not thinking about the limiting beliefs of the stories, right? So clients come to you, they want to get below 10% body fat. You know the formula: nutrition, workout, cardio, follow this, and then they follow it, they get to the promised land, right? Building a 6-figure, 7-figure online business, there is a formula there. And you have to go in with the mindset of growth and learning, tweaking, testing. Like I said, I did a ton of webinars until I made my first sale. I did a ton of sales calls before I stopped being a wuss, and I said my prices with pride, right? Yeah. So these are all learning experiences, but essentially it all comes down to that vision. That's why I say you got to write down your ideal day, your ideal business on a piece of paper. That is your vision. It gives you a target. So basically, as you're going about your day, you're taking action, you're learning, you're tweaking, you're testing. And basically, it's not getting into those stories, because we know there are plenty of online coaches that are making 7 figures, 8 figures and beyond. And believe me, they're no smarter than you and I. They're just super persistent, and they don't get caught up in their own stories. They just keep on going and going and going and sticking to that vision, right? So, I mean, like I said, I could tell you so many failures that I had, so many embarrassments, but these are the things that made me the man I am today. It makes me very humble. I'm super grateful to, you know, live this lifestyle where I have an abundance of finances and I just have a lot of freedom. But it was a very long road of getting there. And I think one of the biggest things I've learned is like, I could lose this all. Like, you know, let's say I contract a chronic illness and I got to sell my house, I got to sell my car, my business goes downhill. But this stuff doesn't define me. It's really the person I became in the process. So like, I have no fear of losing. And also because I don't have a fear of losing money, I don't have a fear of losing anything, I take a lot more action and take a lot more risks.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, that sums up a lot for me. And I think you've gone through the whole process fantastically and taught us so much. So thank you very much. I'd just like to very quickly, if you've got a couple more minutes, which I think you have because I messed up the times.
Yeah, listen, I love this stuff. Flowing. Let's do this. Keep on going.
Has anyone listening got any more questions that you want to chuck at AJ? I know we've gone through a lot, and we've also answered, or AJ's also answered some of your questions already. But if you've got any other questions, just chuck them at him, and I'll ask. We've got one from Grant here saying, do you use payment plans or charge up front always?
Me personally, I focus on upfront, and the minimum I'll do is a 2-payment plan. Essentially, the more a person pays, the more they pay attention, okay? So you always give a discounted rate if they do a paid in full, because let's say if a person pays me $5,000 paid in full, that's $5,000 of commitment. So over those 3 months, they're gonna really push it hard, they're gonna do whatever it takes. If I say, okay, pay me over the course of a year, and it's 12 payments, right? I'm not the best at math, but it'd be like $60 a month. So every single time that credit card gets dinged, they say to themselves, is Grant really getting me results? They have 1 foot out the door. Okay, I'll try this month. Okay, I want to get out. I'll try this month. They're not committed. So that's why I believe in charging more and forcing your clients to pay more so they pay more attention.
I like that. Like that a lot. Right, anyone else? Looks good. I think we've covered everything. So, I mean, thank you so much, AJ. Where can we find out more about you? How's the new car?
Oh my God, yes. I just purchased my dream car, Bentley convertible, and I got it a few days ago. I cannot stop driving it. Like, it's just like, it's an addiction, because like I had this car on my wall for like the past decade. Before I started my business, I want to buy that car one day, and now it's like mine. It's like sitting in my garage. Like last night I was just in my garage, like just like, holy shit, I own this car, you know? It's like surreal to me, but that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of this stuff is like, when you have a business that just gives you financial abundance and everything just flows easily, like whatever you desire, like anything you want, your car, your house, your family, you're traveling, you can have it, right? Just following these simple principles, adding value, helping others, serving at the highest level. So to answer your question, I'm super grateful. I love the car. And at the same time, like I said, for me, like it's an emotional driver, right? So like what pushes me to always want to double my income every year, it's when I invest. If I say, well, I'm not going to buy a $300,000 car, I'll just drive, you know, a $10,000 car that I'm not pushing myself. I kind of force myself to make more money by forcing myself to have more expenses, you know? It sounds kind of crazy, but it works for me. So my thing is like in life, we need things to stretch ourselves. We need pain. So I had this uncomfortable feeling, this lifestyle that I've created for myself, and I gotta constantly give and help and be at this level that I could provide at this lifestyle, right? Some people say, well, you know, live below your means. Well, my philosophy is expand your means and find out what you gotta do to live the life you desire.
I love that. I love that. Fabian, regarding niches, I'm a running coach. Should I niche down to the marathon to be the marathon expert?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, Fabian, is like just doing some market testing, you know? So figuring out like where these marathon runners are and start to survey them, or even start to like basically, you know, ask them questions. Let's say, for example, you find a Facebook group of marathon runners. You would make a simple post like, hey, Fabian, I'm Fabian, an online fitness coach, and I've actually developed a killer marathon training program, and it'll help you get under 20 minutes a marathon, or 20 hours, whatever the time frame. Big results. 20-minute marathons. That's no.
Very famous then.
But the whole point is like you see if there's a value for it, right? So let's say, for example, you create this amazing marathon program and you tell people in the group that if I create this, will you invest in it? So then let's say 10 people say, Fabian, that's exactly what I need. So you give them a deposit. Say, okay, this program I'm going to sell for $5,000 in the near future, but I'll let you be in a beta group, and you just got to pay me $1,000 for 12 weeks. You can be a beta tester, and I'll give you the discount if you give me a before and after testimonial. You tell me how this program is. So let's say 10 people, they give Fabian $1,000. Now you have 10 grand in your merchant account. Only when you have the money, then you build a program. So it's like, one thing I do with my students is market and sell the program first, and then build it as you go along. The biggest mistake people make is they'll jump into a target market, spend 5-6 months creating this dream come true program, and then when you go sell it, it's like crickets. So right now we're living in the information age. We could create information and products in 24 hours. We have such great technology. So my thing is market test it, sell it, get a financial commitment. Only when you get that financial commitment, then you go out in terms of building the program with those test people.
Nice, nice, like that. Brian's saying messed up time, missed most of it. Sorry, Brian, that was my fault. And what I'm going to do is make sure that we have recorded this, and I will get recordings out to everyone who registered straight away. So you won't miss it. You will get everything. Again, apologies about the time zone change and my messing it up. Nicole saying thanks for sharing, full of confidence towards success. So that's fantastic. Right, Grant, what do you find is the average time your clients are willing to invest in you and your coaching in general? 3 months, 6 months, or 9?
Great question. So for my online weight loss program, I have a 6-month commitment. So that's what they do on the front end. And then once they get through the 6 months, I then go into like a month-to-month plan. So it could go anywhere from like 1 to 2 years on average that they say in the month-to-month plan. What I also do is like, I'll offer like different in-person meetings. Like I have retreats in my house here. So I get people that are in my 6-month weight loss program to do an in-person at my house, because I'm essentially like reselling myself to them. Because like any online program, it could get a bit stagnant if you're just getting the same thing over and over again. So figure out different ways of having a meetup with them, or have like a specific Facebook group, something social to build a community. So you want to obviously sell that original program 3-6 months, whatever that is, but make sure while you're doing that, you create a community in place so they have friends and connections, because that's the number one thing that builds retention.
Wicked. That's very clever as well. so much clever stuff. It's brilliant. I think we'll sort of draw a line under it all there. I just want to say thank you so much. You have given a tremendous amount, and I think people can walk away with so much that they can plug into their business and create a lot of success. If we want to find out learn more from you, where do we go? Yeah, absolutely. So I want to acknowledge you first, Tim, because I appreciate you, like the amount of value you put out into the world. I follow you on Facebook and Instagram on your group, and you just put out so much good stuff, like especially on Instagram, you have these really great insights and quotes. But obviously what you're doing for the industry, like you're one of the few online personal training softwares that I recommend. I tell my students, because I believe in you, I believe in your product. You're only making it better and better. You're like the Bentley of personal trainer software. So I appreciate you're creating something like that, man. It's really impressive. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sure. So the best way to reach me is my main website, onlinesupercoach.com. And that's like the central hub where I have my webinars. I have different courses that are free you can enroll in. And also I have my seminar information. I'm having a seminar next month in New York, April 20th and 29th. If you can make it, that would be awesome. So if you go to my website, Online Super Coach, everything is on there. And actually for the people that are here, I actually created a organic marketing template. It's what I call a resurrection email. It's one of the low-hanging fruits. Like you can literally just copy and paste this email and send it, and you'll get a ton of leads out of it. And these are the people that watched this long on the replay and on live. To get that resurrection email template, all you gotta do is text the word amazing to 33444. The word amazing to 33444, and I'll send you that template free of charge. Amazing, fantastic. That is awesome. So everybody text that. What was it? 33444. Word amazing. Yeah, just the word amazing to that number. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you again for rushing forward an hour when I messed up the times and delivering so much value. It's been brilliant. Thank you, AJ.
I appreciate you, Tim. Thanks for everyone on here. Much love. If you need anything, hit me up anytime.
Wicked, wicked. And thank you, everyone, for being with us. It's been great. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you all.
Appreciate it.